Hello again. Now, foreigners are not the cause of the country's unemployment crisis. Trade union Numsa has slammed Operation Dubula, which is targeting illegal foreign nationals in parts of Johannesburg. Numsa says foreigners must not be blamed. Let's speak about this now with Numsa spokesperson Phakamile Hlubi. Phakamile, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. Your statement is very clear, but it's very hard-hitting as well. Just for the benefit of our viewers who may not have seen it, you are saying that people who are campaigning for the removal or forcible removal of foreigners who are in the country, especially illegal migrants, are targeting the wrong people. They should be targeting, for example, the governing party and various departments.
Absolutely, Bradan. For us, this is a very important issue, and we are very disturbed by the activities that we have been seeing taking place through the guise of these types of operations like Operation Dudula, where entities that have no mandate, I might add, no legal mandate that we know of, are now going around like policemen and removing people under the guise that they're removing illegal immigrants. I think it's very important that, first of all, we should ask questions on whose mandate is this? Whose mandate are they operating under? Because the people who are responsible for that type of work are the police, or in some cases, the Department of Labor, if you're speaking about workplaces. But more importantly, what we are seeing, which disturbs us greatly, is this narrative which seems to be strengthening, that South Africa's unemployment is due to the fact that foreign nationals have stolen jobs. That is not true. The evidence does not back it up. The problems that people are experiencing right now have got nothing to do with foreign nationals. They've got everything to do with policy decisions that this government has taken and failure by this government to deliver services to our people.
And you point out in your statement, I mean, you use some data, some statistics about what's the percentage of migrants who constitute, who are in South Africa. It's about 4%. Therefore, it's a tiny minority. But you go to pains as well to express concern about the fact that the bulk of those who are being attacked are African migrants, which leads to that hatred and xenophobic behavior.
Absolutely, Bradan. Because, first of all, as you correctly put it, the Department of Labor last year, when they were before Parliament, confirmed that the total population of foreign nationals living in South Africa is 4%. And that they only take up about, it's about 7% that exist that work in various jobs in South Africa. Now, our unemployment problem, we have 46% unemployment. So if we have 46% unemployment, which is almost half the population, how do you then blame 4% of the population for a problem that affects 46% of the population? It's just not conceivable that that number of people could occupy that number of jobs. I mean, that's just a simple fact. Secondly, the reason we've got such high levels of unemployment is because even the jobs that we do have, this government is not taking decisive steps in order to intervene in the economy, in order to protect jobs, in order to create jobs. If you look at, for example, what the apartheid government did back in those days, they set up state-owned entities whose role was not just developmental, but the role of those state-owned entities, Bradan, was to create jobs for the white working class. The ANC government comes into power, and the very first thing that they do is to hollow out our SOEs through corruption and sell them over to the private sector. And they convince, and they have convinced even media practitioners, that the right thing to do is that there should be job losses, or that the staff levels or labor levels in all of these entities must be radically reduced. Now, if you are going to implement those types of policies and yet not do anything to try and replace those jobs or create new sectors or to create new jobs, you are actually contributing directly to the crisis of unemployment. And that's what this government has done. And what we've been saying as Numsa is that it is important for the working class to channel its anger in the right direction. Channel your anger to the Department of Labor, who's failing to inspect companies and ensure that they're hiring accordingly. Channel your anger towards the Department of Home Affairs that's failing to manage the borders. Channel your anger, if you're angry about crime, to the SAPS. But why are you attacking the lady who sells sweets at Bara and you think that's going to change your conditions? That will not change your conditions. We are reminding the people where the real power lies.
Yeah, you're making very strong points and relevant points. And just to point out from reading your statement, while you are condemning in strongest terms, as your statement says, what you call the scapegoating of foreign nationals in South Africa, you are in no way in support of criminal activity. I mean, you point out in your statement that you want all foreigners, even those who are in the informal sector, to be properly documented, because then it will be easy to trace if there was a crime that is committed. Because if people are here illegally, you are not for that, therefore you are supporting a documentation of all illegal foreigners.
We believe very strongly that this campaign is a distraction. It's designed to distract the working class from directing their anger to the right people. We are not at all supporting criminal behavior. We believe that all foreign nationals who are in the country should be documented. But just like it happens in other countries overseas, where South Africans are working overseas, those people have the right to work. And while they are working, if they're documented, they should feel safe in those countries. And it is extremely worrying when the population is being deliberately misled into believing that their suffering is the cause of 4% of the population. It is our duty as a trade union that is aspiring to socialist and that aspires and promotes socialist values, that we remind our members and other members of the working class that our enemy are not other workers. Other workers these are our brothers, our sisters. In terms of our ideology, we should be uniting, we should be working together to deal with our problems. But to scapegoat and to attack people who are vulnerable, and we know that immigrants in South Africa are a vulnerable community, is a mistake, and it's going to lead to people being hurt.
Thank you very much. This is Ms. Phakamile Hlubi-Majola, speaking on behalf of trade union Numsa in relation to the Operation Dudula that's currently they're being targeting foreign nationals, particularly African migrants, allegedly because they are stealing the jobs of South Africans.